Thank you for joining me today. Please let me know how long you've been playing the oud for. I'd like to make sure that this oud lesson is appropriate for you. So that information will be very helpful. Hi Carol, good to see you. I'm glad that the picture is good, sound is great. Thanks for letting me know. That's awesome. All right. I'm just gonna double check my tuning here because it is very cold this morning and stuff can happen with tuning and all that. As you know, the usual tuning that I use is C, first string, second string G, third string D, fourth string A, fifth string F, and low C. So we're sounding good. Okay, today I want to do a beginner oud lesson. This is what you can consider your second oud lesson. So we're going to be focusing more a little bit on the left hand and how to get the right spacing here and how to get these fingers moving properly. A lot of little details here and there. And then we're also going to do a little bit more of a ornaments kind of session for more of you advanced oud players. And we're going to talk about technique that I did a video of last week, the muting technique. We're going to go into that a little bit more, show you some things to just get started with that, similar to that video. If you haven't seen it, this will be good. If you have seen it, this will be a nice review and hopefully give you some more insights. Let me know if you have any questions as we go along, and that'd be awesome. Yeah. Okay, so beginning oud lesson. So last month we talked a little bit more about the right hand, the basics of holding the oud and all that kind of little basic things. Now I want to focus on a little bit now on the left hand. So the left hand, we want to start out with our hand completely to the left. I'm gonna show you this. You see how my thumb is located here. Your thumb can be located a little bit close to, you see this little joint here where the peg box meets the neck. Your thumb can be somewhere around there. And it's pretty straight, and as you sometimes can see, that there's a little hole at the back of the thumb here. You don't want to be all the way in. You want to be just kind of giving some pressure there. Not too much pressure, it's loose. It's just kind of hanging there. You bring your left hand up. There's always some contact underneath the fingerboard there. Like that. And so these fingers curl around to reach the strings. So just with that in mind, as though you're giving someone a handshake, try to curl the fingers over to the neck there, like this. Keep your fingers a little bit spread apart, not too tight, not tightly like this, not claw-like like this, just relaxed and spread apart, like so. Just enjoy that movement. Reach for the low strings. See how far you can how far you can go. See how your palm moves. Try to touch different strings. Just feel how that feels. Now, each of our fingers can touch a point on the string. As you put the first finger down, the finger needs to press the string to the wood, if that isn't obvious enough. That's how the sound changes. So we have a note here, we call it Si or Do. When you put your first finger down, about 1 to 2 centimeters from the white nut here, on the extreme left, we have C sharp or Do diez. And if you put your next finger down about, let's say, a centimeter or so in front of that finger, we get the note D or Re. And same likewise, if you put your third finger in front of there, you get E flat or Mi bemol. And then these fingers are pretty comfortable. The stretch is not too onerous. But this pinky is kind of short, needs to extend a little bit. Look how my knuckle of the finger down there is extending in order to reach here. We have the E note or Mi. So we have these 4 finger positions. 1, 2, 3, 4. And they go up the basic chromatic half steps. Each of these steps, each finger is called a half step. And go up like that. So what you can practice is putting each finger down independently. Let's try that first because it's a bit easier on the hands. You may need to practice this a while before you start putting down fingers all at the same time. So we start with the open string, then we go to C sharp, Do diez. Then we lift off, play the open string again. Then we play D or Re. Then lift off, play the open string again. Do the third finger, E flat or Mi bemol. Take off, and then put the fourth finger down. Take off. And then go back to the third finger. Then go back to the second finger. First finger. All downstrokes. Now this may sound really strange at first because your fingers are not knowing exactly where to go. They're not knowing how far up to go. So the point is that you need to get these fingers doing something. It's not going to sound great at first, but they need to move independently. And you need to feel and experience the space between each finger. So it's not so important right now if it doesn't sound good or if you don't know exactly where to put your finger. Just keep your thumb around that joint there, and you want to put your finger almost, you can see the first finger is almost exactly at that joint here. It's almost exactly at that joint. Then if you just put your second finger in front of there, your third finger in front of that one, and your fourth finger in front of that one, then you should be more or less in the right spot. Now, but because I can't give you feedback, I can't tell you if the note is right or wrong. We'll go into some tricks on how to do that in a bit. First thing I want to tell you guys about this is that I get each finger moving, getting used to going down. And the next thing you want to do after that is put 2 fingers down. So we go in order: C, C sharp, D. And by doing this, we are keeping the finger that went before, we're keeping it down, so that if we need to come back to it, we can come back to it efficiently. And you want to do this. Just do 3 notes. We're just exercising the fact that we're putting one finger down, putting the next finger down, and holding them both there, and then lifting one up to allow the first finger to sound, and going back. The next thing you want to do after you get good at doing that, you want to do 3 fingers. You want to go up to 3. So you want to go C, C sharp, D, E flat, D, C sharp, open. And that is going to give these fingers exercise in staying down on the string, right? Next exercise that you want to do is now adding the 4th finger to that. You want to try your best to keep all 4 fingers down. Now, this is not practical all the time. On the oud, because we have no frets, we have to reach the note very precisely with our fingers. Sometimes we can't keep the fingers down all at the same time, and this is okay. Sometimes we can be forgiving. For example, when we go up to the 3rd finger, if we know we're not going to go back to the 1st finger, we know we're going all the way up, we can let go of the 1st finger. That's okay. But if the piece of music or exercise that we're playing calls for us to go back, then we have to keep the first finger down. So if the piece calls for, we keep the finger there, so that all we have to do is lift the finger, and it's very efficient. We don't want to play like this. See how our fingers are jumping? Up, off, on, off, up. We don't want to do that because it takes time for the finger to come back. So, but there are scenarios where we're going to go all the way up and not come back right away. So when we hit the 3rd finger, we can let go of the 1st finger. We don't need to create too much tension in the hand. This is another way of playing that we sometimes use. So as you put the 2nd finger down, keep the 1st finger down. As you put the 3rd finger down, you can relax the 1st finger. This may come naturally, or it may be more harder for you. The most important thing to remember is to keep the 2nd finger and 3rd finger flexed. You see how I've kept the 2nd finger on. So that's okay. That's okay to do. You just don't want this 1st finger to leave the string so far. Otherwise, it'll take more time for it to come back. Now, we do the same thing when we go up to the 4th finger. That's where we really use it the most, this technique, is that because we have to stretch, our palm has to rotate. If you can see how my palm at the back is kind of rotating to reach up there. My knuckle is not doing all the work stretching up there. It's like a rotation that's happening. Rotation with my wrist and my palm to kind of like a teeter-totter to reach up to that note. So that's why we take these fingers off. So these fingers are now off the string. They're close, they're ready to come back, but they're off the string. So this is an exercise that you should do. This is especially good for those of you who are just starting out. Very beginner kind of finger exercise. Now, a trick that you can use to make sure you're playing the right note. Assuming your oud is in tune perfectly, we have a note here which corresponds to our D string, Re. The sound of your second finger on the C string should be exactly the same, but higher. So if you get your second finger in the right spot, you can kind of more or less gauge where the first finger and the third finger should go. Like about 1.5 centimeters distance. Same with the third finger and the second finger. So you can always check to see if your second finger is in the right spot by playing your third string. And from there, you can just kind of estimate. You should be able to fit like a finger in between each finger. So that's how we check. One of the ways in which we check whether we're playing the right note or not is using the open strings as reference points. All right, I'm going to check if there's any questions here. I don't have a lot of time today because I've got a full day of lessons. Yes, tuning. Tuning was at the beginning of the video. We're using C, G, D, A, F, C. All right. Hey, Ayad, nice to see you. Good to see you, everybody. Thanks for joining. All right, so I want to talk about muting. Muting is one of these techniques which I use a lot and I don't think about. I don't really teach it to students until they're about like been playing for a year or two. Just because it takes a lot of focus and a lot of energy. And muting can happen in a lot of ways, but the most basic thing that you can start doing, we can use the same format that we were using this exercise, 4 fingers down on the first string. Muting is where you cut off the sound. So you play the C string, and you use your first finger or the next finger that is in line in the scale that you're playing, the makam that you're playing, and you cut off the sound using your finger. Now, what you're not doing is you're not pushing the string all the way down to the wood. Your finger is coming down to the string to stop the vibration. Do you see what I did just there? You don't want to hear the next note. You just want to hear the resonance of the oud. So your first muting exercise is basically down on C, first finger down. Create a rhythmic motion here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now do that with the second finger. I'm putting both my fingers down on the strings. It doesn't matter, you don't have to do that. But you can just use your second finger or both fingers, doesn't really matter. But as you can see, an important left hand detail is that the fingers follow each other. They need to follow each other down when they come down to the fingerboard. Now you can hear a little bit of something happening. You can hear da-da. You can hear a little sound of the string of the next note. And that's okay, we kind of like that sound. It's just we don't want it to be overly obvious. We want it to have that da-da, da-da, that cut off. Da-da, da-da, da-da. When you do this fast in consecutively, it sounds really cool. So your ultimate goal is to get this pattern faster. Okay, now practice with the third finger over the E flat note. The fourth finger. This is a good exercise. Next exercise, one level up from that, is to play the C sharp and then mute with your second finger. And so forth and so on. Use your second finger, mute with the third finger. And so forth and so on, third finger to fourth finger. The fourth finger is arguably the weakest, so it needs a little bit more exercise. Make sure when you do this exercise, you take breaks. Don't let your hand tense up. Don't shake out. Make sure that feels good. It's very easy when you do the fourth finger for the fourth finger to press the string all the way down to the wood. And that has varying effect on the quality of the sound. Sometimes you need it, sometimes you don't need to do that. You just want to focus on just cutting off the string. Start very slowly. Major thing not to do not lift the finger that you're muting with. Your finger needs to be heavy to stay on the string. Don't lift up the finger again until you hit the original note. And don't worry if your finger pushes the string to the wood sometimes. It's okay if that happens, especially when you get to doing it at speed, then no one's going to know the difference. See how my finger kind of teeter-totters when I go to the third finger and the fourth finger? Make note of that. Make note of how that stretching works. All right. So this month we have a promo happening on my Ornaments Masterclass. The Ornaments Masterclass teaches you 5 of the most important techniques. I call them the 5 golden techniques. Tremolo, trills, doubling up, bass note jumping. What was the other one? I can't remember off the top of my head now. And these techniques are most important for someone who's starting to learn how to ornament their oud playing and embellish their oud playing. And I use a template from a song, from a very famous piece, to show you how to apply this ornamentation to virtually any piece of music. And so that's happening this month. And also this special enrollment, you have also the chance to bundle 2 of my courses, which use ornaments a lot: the Ornaments Masterclass and Egyptian Music Volume 1, which you learn 5 songs by Egyptian composers: Kulthum, Mahmoud Karim, Mustafa Said, and these 2 courses go together really well because they use ornaments a lot, and it's great for more intermediate oud players to learn. So that's happening this month, and I also do have some openings for oud lessons if anyone is wanting to do some more focused oud lesson work and get one-on-one teaching. I have a few minutes now to answer some questions. Make sure you're on the newsletter. The link is in the description to get on the newsletter if you're not already on it, so you hear about the Ornaments Masterclass. I know a lot of people that come to these YouTube lives might already be in that Ornaments class. Thank you for joining that class, and so thanks so much. Yeah, so I'm going to answer any questions. If you have some, get them out. I have a few minutes here. Happy to answer some questions. All right, so Nicholas, do you recommend one longer practice session in a day or multiple shorter? For different people suggest different approaches. Yeah, I would experiment a little bit. It depends on how much time you have in the day and what's practical for you. At the beginning, I've heard that some people prefer short bursts of practicing throughout the day. So 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there, 10 minutes there. That's good because the physical body needs to reiterate the motions, more consistently, more often. So so you can try different approaches. Some people get tired after a while, so maybe longer practice sessions don't work. But other people like myself, I know at this advanced level that once you get there, I know I need a lot of time to warm up. So like I finally feel like I'm in the zone after an hour of warming up. And maybe that's just me. I don't know. Maybe that's just the conditions of one's life. So I would recommend experimenting. There's no right or wrong. Everyone is different. So see what works for you. Try different things. Why not? Carol, all right. Are you going for a certain feel to the music when you choose to mute? Absolutely. Yeah, this is very important because the muting is highly related to the groove of the music, also to the melody of the music, and so you often and also with the logistics of how the fingers land on the strings on the oud. There are certain places where you mute more often than other places because of the limitations or the hand finger position limitations. So it all depends on the context. There are exercises you can practice like the ones I showed you just to get the mechanics of it down, but of course you want to use it when it's meant to be used. So for example, one place where we use the muting technique a lot is in descending passages where like in Maqam Hijaz you have these melodies which come down from G to the tonic D or A to the tonic D. We have this melody in Maqam Hijaz, songs in Maqam Hijaz all the time. So instead of just playing everything straight like this, I mute wherever I have a finger available. When I do it more aggressively, more dynamically, you can really hear the difference. You can really hear that cutoff, and that sounds really charming for the oud. So we often do this in descending passages, sometimes ascending passages when it really requires it, or going up and down. And there's different positions that you would want to go into in order to have a finger available so that you can do the mute. And you always mute using the finger that comes next in the maqam, or use the finger that corresponds to the next note in the maqam. So if you're doing Hijaz and you're doing a mute on the D note, you would likely more often use the E flat note or E flat finger, the first finger. When you do E flat, you're using the F sharp finger. And then if you want to do a mute on F sharp, you can do it the other way, which is just lifting up the finger. Stops the vibration. Or you can move into a different position, so you have a finger. Thanks for mentioning my album. Yeah, I do have a new album that I released a month or two ago. I can't remember now. Yeah, a month ago. And so that is out on everywhere that you can stream music. Thanks for mentioning that. And yeah, just look it up. It's called the Himeji Sessions. And you can just search the Himeji Sessions Navid Goldrick. Yeah. All right, I'm running out of time, so thanks so much for everyone who joined. And I hope you'll take a look at the promo that we have happening this month. Again, if you're not on the newsletter, the link is in the description. You can sign up to hear about it. And yeah, we'll talk to you soon. Thanks again, and have a great weekend